This is the beginning of the fifth lecture for the chapter on memory. I am trying a new technique here without the picture. I'm trying to use a new microphone I have and see how that works. So bear with me. I'm sure you'll let me know what you think. We were on long-term potentiation. Basically, it's increasing in synapses firing potential after a brief rapid stimulation. The best way to explain this is it's the biological basis, they think, of how we lay down memories. And it's mostly done in the hippocampus. If you are studying for this test, you are stimulating, okay? You are either slowly or perhaps even increasingly rapidly stimulating a neuron, a connection in your brain. That neuron connection is where they think, as it gets strengthened, as you study more and more, it is what is going to create the ability to lay down that thought in short-term memory into long-term memory. Okay? It can get much more complicated, but we don't need to worry about that. They don't understand everything about long-term potentiation. They just know a lot of times rapid stimulation of a neuron will help you lay down that memory from short-term memory to long-term memory. And an example of that would simply be the more you study, the more likely you are to take something and it becomes a part of you versus something that's just worked in your short-term memory. Okay. Now, strong emotions can affect this. We have found that if you release a variety of different neurotransmitters and hormones, adrenaline, I think cortisol is another one off the top of my head. But when these type of things happen, you really, it's like searing an event, a moment in your life into your brain. So you could imagine when people saw 9/11 occur, that for a lot of people there was a lot of emotion, a lot of adrenaline, a lot of hormones released. And so those memories that they have of watching the event as it occurred sort of became something they can never forget. All right, let's move on here. All right, amnesia. Now we're going to talk about storage of long-term memory. Storage of long-term memory. Amnesia is the loss of memory. It doesn't really need much more explaining than that. But how does it happen? A variety of different ways. It doesn't always have to be. It can be a blow to the head, which of course we know you can have amnesia. But also, as you get older, there are some things that happen in the brain, the body, where you have like Alzheimer's, where you stop remembering parts of your life, or you start to not be able to lay down new memories. And in this case, it tends to be a disease that stops certain chemicals from being released in your body and your brain that prevent these processes that have been, taken for granted your whole life. It stops them from occurring. All right, now we're going to talk about two types of memory: implicit and explicit. All right, the first one is implicit. Retention without conscious recollection. Okay? Skills and dispositions, also called non-declarative memory. You can't declare something. How to hold a pencil and use it would be implicit memory. Okay? You don't know, you can't declare how you hold a pencil. You just do it, and you don't think about it because you've done it so many times. But at some point you had to learn how to do it. And if any of you ever meet my son, you'll realize he has a lot of problems with it. He still holds his pencil in a very awkward way that makes us laugh. We've tried everything, and he just wants to hold his pencil in a very weird way. But that works for him. Explicit memory of facts and experiences that one can consciously know and declare. Okay, the hippocampus, neural center in the limbic system that helps process explicit memories for storage. So it is in the hippocampus where you start to lay down these things. So declarative memory would be anything you learn for the AP psychology test. You can declare it. I know what the hippocampus is and does. I know what explicit memory is. Okay, so that is what explicit memory is. All right, moving on. Here's a picture of the hippocampus. I just wanted to give you a reference again of what it looks like. It kind of looks like a horseshoe, and there's one on each lobe of the brain, each half, and they kind of come, I don't know if they connect or if they come very close to connecting in the middle of the brain there. I saw a picture online the other day of comparing what it looks like to a seahorse, and they looked very comparable. So you could call it a horseshoe or a seahorse, depends on what you want. So let's look at this. I just have this nice chart here that will hopefully help you break it down. Again, organization. So you have types of long-term memories. You have explicit on one side, implicit on the other. Let's go with explicit. Okay. Facts, general knowledge, semantic memory, the meaning of things, personally experienced events, episodic memory. Okay. Implicit would be something you can't declare. Skills, motor and cognitive, like I said, using a pencil. And dispositions, classical and operant conditioning effects. We haven't gotten into that. That's learning. But that's neither here nor there. That won't be a question on a test right now. But once you learn that, it'll make more sense. All right, now we're going to talk about retrieval. Okay. Getting that information out of long-term memory. So we've gone from sensory to short-term to long-term. Now what happens when you want to remember it? Okay, well, what happens when you're trying to say, hey, I'm trying to pull out information that I learned last year in, I don't know, it could be an intro to psych class, and now you're in a more advanced psych class, and you want to use the information you learned last year to help you write a paper this year. Okay. So first is recall. It's a measure of memory in which the person must retrieve information learned earlier, as in a fill-in-the-blank test. You have to create the list of possibilities for the answer and then choose the correct answer. That is the way we do our vocabulary quizzes in this class. It's fill-in-the-blank. Okay, I want you to know those questions and those definitions and be able to pull them from your own mind without having something cue you as to what the right answer might be. You know it better through recall. Then you have recognition as a measure of memory in which the person need only identify items previously learned, as on a multiple choice test. So this is where half the work has been done for you. You don't have to provide the list of options. They're already provided for you, an A, B, C, D, E possible answer, and you just have to look through them and figure out which one is the right one and which ones are not the right one. Easier task. Relearning is a measure of memory that assesses the amount of time saved when relearning material for a second time. So you may learn, if you study the way I've been trying to explain to you, you should do it in little pieces and delayed, and do it for a while, come back to it, do it over several nights versus one mass cram session. The first night you'll learn so much, and then there will be some information that you lose between the first and second day of studying. But how long does it take you to relearn the stuff you had forgotten from the first day? It tends to go faster. And so each time you relearn something, it gets faster and faster, even though you may have forgotten it. So that's kind of a cool thing. All right. All right. We're going to stop here. I'm going to start with priming on the next one. All right.